Hey guys, I found this awesome parody short story on the internet called Duskiness. It's a parody of Twilight, and I'm going to read it to you. Edward leaned toward me, his perfect face inches from mine. His sweet, delicious breath ghosted over my face. His golden eyes glowed with love. "How do you like it?" he whispered, his velvet voice purring in my ear. I couldn't respond, so dazzled was I by his sparkling skin. He shone like a diamond in the sun, a godlike creature before me. He smirked at my befuddlement. But then his face darkened, and he thundered, "Don't be difficult, Bella!" I cringed, but he instantly softened, chuckled his bell-like laugh, and leaned toward me again. His cold, pale fingers brushed my cheek. I stopped breathing. "Come here," he said, bounding up in one of those blindingly fast movements I've grown accustomed to. "I want to show you something." He led me to a small creek and sank gracefully into the grass at its edge. I tripped over a pebble and landed on my face in the mud. Edward laughed. How could he love me? He was so beautiful, gorgeous, and perfect. Like the statue of David come alive, like Adonis, a god, an angel. Edward removed his shoes and rolled up the cuffs of his jeans, and I gasped at the sight of his white, smooth ankles. Sunlight reflected off his toenails, each an ivory glint of perfection. I've never seen Edward's feet before. I hadn't realized he could be more beautiful than he was, but there seemed no end to his beauty. My heart beat madly in my chest, bounced up into my throat, ricocheted off half a dozen ribs, and finally settled somewhere in the vicinity of my kneecap. I collapsed. Faster than a speeding bullet, Edward had lifted me in his marble arms and cradled me into his granite chest. "Bella! Bella!" he screamed. "No!" The sight of his perfect, glorious face, so twisted in anguish, sent waves of torture through my body. "Edward!" I gasped. His cold, unyielding lips pressed to mine, but I dared not move for fear of breaking his control. So irresistible did he find the scent of my blood. I could not bear knowing I had caused Edward pain by forcing him to eat me. My heart fluttered around my kneecap. The kiss done, Edward set me on my feet. Without moving, I tripped over a stick and would have fallen into the stream had Edward not caught me in his iron embrace. "Will you answer my Will you answer my question?" I asked. "Of course, my love. My life. My forever," Edward said casually, tearing boulders apart with his toes. I watched, spellbound for a moment, before remembering myself. "I once asked if you could turn into a bat, and you just laughed." Edward smirked. "Because it was a stupid question. We don't turn into bats. Why would we turn into bats?" "But can you turn into something?" "Of course." He stood, stretched. His shirt rose enough for me to catch a glimpse of his sculpted abs above his waistband. I hyperventilated and passed out. When I awoke, Edward was speaking. For disguise. "What?" I said breathlessly. "I said we turn into fruit. It's great for disguising yourself." He watched me carefully to see if this revelation would finally be the one that convinced me he was a monster, that sent me screaming from him. "Oh," I said. "What kind of fruit?" He looked frustrated, annoyed, euphoric, scared, nervous, grumpy, amused, sleepy, and sad, like an archangel come down from heaven to bless me with his presence. "An apple." "Oh, can I see?" Rage colored his features. "No! Why can't you understand? I am a danger to you. I could kill you. I should leave you forever." He threw himself forward and wrapped his arms around me. "I should go right now. It's the only way to keep you safe." despair settled over me, so thick and heavy I could hardly see. "No, Edward! Don't leave me! I know we've only been together for 3 hours, but I want to spend forever with you, please!" He pulled back and looked at me, thousands of emotions roiling in his liquid topaz eyes. "Do you mean that, Bella?" "Yes." "Very well." His perfect, glorious, heavenly face dipped towards me, and he touched his cold lips to my neck. He growled deep in his throat, a sound that travelled up and down my spine like lightning. Then came a sharp pain. His grip tightened. I gasped his name. My sight dimmed until all I could see was the sparkle of his skin calling me to paradise. Then, nothing. Edward looked down at the body of Bella Swan, pale and lifeless in his pale and lifeless arms. "Oops." His sobs shook the forest for 6 long seconds. Then he stood, wiped a drop of blood from the corner of his mouth. Yum. He sprinted for the edge of the forest, moving faster than any living creature, and wondered if that Angela girl would be his new lab partner. The end. I'm going to put a link in the sidebar, I think it's this way, to the thing. And this short story is much funnier if you read what's above it, which is all the stuff about Twilight, and the repetition of certain things, like how he says, "I can't be with you," while like going after her. It's hilarious. Anyway, I thought props to that, and have fun.